Tuten's going to be out for a little bit. Who does that create opportunities for the third down role?
Really all the backs. I think those backs have progressed really well, especially these past couple of weeks in the protection game and even the pass game. And I think you look at that room, they've kind of been by committee in the run game. It's the same thing in the pass game, whether it's third down or it's 2 minutes, second and long. I think all of them have ability and value to add.
Jamari Taylor had a big game the other night. That's probably LeQuint's absence probably gives him the biggest opportunity, though, right, to move forward?
I would think it gives all the backs, like I said, it's great to see Jamari's progression in the run game there. I think you really saw it highlighted in the game. But even out here at practice, you see him picking up the protection system. He's a sharp guy who works hard and studies at it, as does C-Rod and Tuten and Amir. They all really have embraced all the roles of playing running back, which is a unique aspect of that room because we know that the protection aspect is a little less glorious than going out there and running for a touchdown. So it's exciting to have that group of guys who are hard-nosed and willing to stick, go in there and block a linebacker or a defensive end if they have to in the pass pro game.
What did you make the Carter operation-wise, the quarterback?
It was great to see Carter get out there and get some live action, especially because you can try to simulate as much as you want in training camp, but until you're really going to get hit by a defensive end or a defensive tackle or a linebacker, it's not the real thing. It's not truly full speed until you get there in that preseason game. So it was great to see him go out there with the guys, have some moments where we struggled as an offense collectively in the first half, but he responded, came out well, and played in the second half.
When you're working through some of the things along the offensive line, like right now, does that impact you, say, as a play caller? Maybe this unit, running this play together, this guy running it from this position, so on and so forth?
Yeah, certainly something you want to keep in mind. Ideally, we would not have to throw a rookie out there at right tackle as on the second play of a preseason game. So that certainly impacts your plan for sure. But I love the way those guys embraced it. Even at practice, you see the guys moving around to different spots. Everybody's playing inside, they're playing outside, they're playing left, they're playing right. So I've probably said this 100 times now. I'm fortunate that we have guys that can play those different spots, but you certainly keep it in mind to try to give guys maybe a little bit less challenging downs than had they gone out there and you're just running the plays blindly.
How have you seen Emanuel kind of progress from, when you guys first got him into, up through his performance on Saturday?
That's a great question. I think that you see the physicality, you see the strength, you see the athleticism, you see the speed, and he's able to showcase that stuff now because he has a better understanding of the system, a better understanding of his rules. When there's shifts and adjustments and movement by the defense, and we're making communication and calls out there, the processing of that is just that much quicker. And it's a credit to his studying effort. It's all the extra work that he does with Coach Mendelson after practice or at the end of the day. Coach Bakucci, Coach Surratt do a great job preparing him, and he puts in a lot of extra work on his own time. I see him in here at the facility. I'll take a stroll downstairs and it's 10 o'clock at night and I'm expecting it's only the cleaning crews around, but it's Emanuel rolling around through the locker room just finishing up his recovery work. So I probably don't have enough good things to say about a guy like that.
What are you looking for most this weekend with the Panthers coming in to work out with you guys? What are you looking for working with them?
It's really a similar evaluation process for whether it's the Panthers, whether it's the Bucs or the Saints, or just us working good on good, because we are still so focused on finding out who we are as an offense. So it's a great opportunity to go against another opponent and try to see a different defense, try to see how different matchups play out, but it's really still about the evaluation of what do our guys do well, what do we need to improve on, how do we want to execute our system, what things do we want to change within the system or evolve and grow. So we're still in that time of year where we're focused on our offense more so than game planning another defense.
Rodriguez, as he's been ramped up, how has that impacted what you're wanting to do in practice here?
Well, I don't know that it's necessarily changed the plan a whole lot because we've had plans for C-Rod since the moment he's gotten here, but I think it's just allowed us to practice some of those things that we know we want to highlight him in a little bit more that maybe we had held back on earlier because you are focused on your personnel. You're running certain plays or pass concepts to certain guys, and if Tuten or another back gets 10 of one run scheme, well, we might take a break on it for a while until Sierra gets back and he gets 10 reps of that run scheme. So you try to balance out the load between the running backs, same thing with the wide receivers, so everybody gets practice at certain things. You do the same thing with the O-line. Left side gets a couple reps at a certain scheme or a certain look, then the right side does. So it kind of just changed our timing a little bit, but I don't know that necessarily changed the plan, if that makes sense.
Liam has talked about being proud of the way the guys responded on Saturday. Just from your perspective, what was that like just to see, 18-0 second half, the way they kind of came back and fought?
Yeah, I think first of all, you got to have a shout out to the defense because they played their hearts out. I mean, they were playing so hard, and that's infectious for the offense to see them, the defense, the special teams, the way those guys played. impacts not just our field position, where we're getting great field position in the first half or the second half, but it gives the offense life and hope, and allows us to put together those sustained drives and lets the guys cut it loose, knowing we got faith that the defense is going to go out there and get us the ball back. But it's a lot of fun anytime you get to see the guys have success out there, because you see all the hard work they put in out here in the heat or in there in the meeting rooms, and they don't always get a lot of reps, especially the guys who are with the 3s and with the 2s. So it's exciting to see them go out there and play, but then to see them actually have success and respond like that is really encouraging. That's kind of one of those things that coaching is all about. You get to see those guys continue to grow and develop, and then see the fruits of their labor come to life.
And then Liam said starters might potentially play Friday. I mean, for you, potentially calling plays with Trevor, BT, like that, is that something that you're excited for?
Well, we'll see how things shake out. I'll let Liam make those decisions, whether it's who's calling plays or whether who's playing in the game. That's up to him. So I'm excited for the game either way. I know I'll be there, and we'll figure it out whenever Liam says.
What was your favorite play call from Saturday?
Whew. I don't know that I had a favorite play call. Man, that's a great question. I could tell you which ones aren't my favorite. That's probably an easier question for sure. Honestly, one of the things, it wasn't a great play call, but the guys kind of figured out one of the red zone runs that Jamari kind of plunged in there at the end, and the play was a little jacked up. I mean, we weren't exactly lined up the right way and didn't exactly have the motion the right way, but those guys got up there and figured it out. And we might have had somebody unblocked right at the point of attack, but the way Jamari ran the ball and the way the offensive line came off the ball, those are the most exciting plays for me. So I wish I had some genius play call that was unbelievably schemed up, but it was a little bit more about their play style and determination and grit than a genius play call.
On the contrary, handling play calling duties and being a newer thing, was there anything that didn't go according to plan that you had to react to on the fly that you weren't expecting prior?
I think what John highlighted about the injury situation is something that you can't perfectly prepare for. You try to do a lot of conditionals on, if this receiver goes down, then this is our next receiver group, and if this tight end goes down, this is our next tight end group, and how are we going to change our plays and change our formations based on the receivers and tight ends and the skill guys we have out there. Because you only have so many reps to practice. For example, if you're throwing a go ball to a certain receiver, you can't get Joey a go ball rep with every single receiver on the roster. So you need to tailor those plays to the guys he's gotten reps and has chemistry with. So you build a bunch of different plans for, if certain guys are injured, we're going to move guys around in those spots. Well, it's a little bit harder on the O-line, because you don't know which group is this going to be now in preseason, the first quarter, the second quarter, the third quarter, the fourth quarter, where we may say this guy was going to go in at backup tackle, but now it's the fourth quarter and he's not going to go in, he's not going to play the full game. So you would end up, I think, if you did all the combinations, you would have 500 combinations of call sheets, and I run out there with 15 papers. So that's a little bit difficult to plan for. But thankfully, just like I talked about our guys, their flexibility at the offensive line, their flexibility in knowing different positions, even the skill room, made it a little bit easier on me.
Because of the injuries on the offensive line, where there are times, whether it's in practice or in the game, where you're like, I don't know who the hell's out there. There's just numbers. I don't know who it is, right?
No, thankfully I didn't go that crazy. Now, our assistant coaches, Coach Bennett, Coach Morin, those guys do a great job of communicating who's in the game, who's not in the game. There were certain times, if you probably watched closely, where they're probably holding guys on the sideline, getting ready to sub guys, and I'm yelling at them over the headset to make sure this guy's at a certain spot because we want to run a certain route. Like, for example, the double move that we hit Trevor on, down on their sideline, later in the game, the one that Joey threw to him, he ran a little out and up route and almost scored, and kind of ball fell loose. Well, right before that play, another receiver is about to go in, and he starts running on the field, and I'm screaming on the headset, get him back out, because I know Trevor's the guy who's got to run this route. So those guys did a great job getting that thing executed. So when you ask about the operation, it's I would say all 11 guys on the field, but it takes all 11 plus everyone on the sideline and all the coaches to get that thing rolling.
All right. Thanks, Greg.
Appreciate you guys.
Second training camp here in Jacksonville. Just how's it been? And you've had 3 weeks now to get into it.
Yeah, it's been like you said, year or two of camp. It's always fun. You're back playing football, back grinding with the gang. But like year two is easier. You know the playbook, so you can come out here and harp on the details more than your actual assignment. So I think this year is going pretty well for us.
I know it's been a little bit since he's left, but is it different without TJ here? Travis A-Chain?
Yeah, it's a little different. More of a workload on us. We're getting a lot of reps now that he was taking last year. But, I think we're all ready and available to step up, and that's what we've been doing.
A lot of injuries on the offensive line. Does that have an effect on you, understanding how blocks are going to be, or just, the difference in the guys as far as the way that injuries have affected this team?
I don't think it's a difference. you know, we're all capable, and, you know, the next guy up, we know that they're going to go in and, you know, do their job the same and, you know, give it their best, and that's what we grind for. You know, it's always a next man up mentality. So, you know, no matter who's down or who's up, you know, I still have faith and trust that we'll still execute as best as we can.
A few more joint practices, you know, on the schedule. Did you get a lot out of it, you know, last week against the Saints? And what do you kind of enjoy about a joint practice as opposed to going against, like, your defense every single day?
I think you go against a different defense, different players. You know, during camp, when you go against yourself a lot, spring ball go against yourself a lot, you learn your teammates' tendencies and stuff like that. But, you know, studying and working off of, you know, someone else that you're not really familiar with gives you a true, you know, week-to-week NFL season look. And I think that's the best thing that I take from it.
Is it important at the running back position to kind of get those live reps that you can't really sometimes simulate just in a normal practice before week one?
Yeah, I think it definitely is important because you could try to simulate, you know, whatever you want or you could think of in a practice, but I think, like you said, live bullets flying, we have to react fast. It's not a walkthrough anymore. You got to go, and I think that's the best thing that we need coming into Sundays.
What is it about Grant's offensive schemes that probably, you know, make it easy for you, or, you know, how you handle what you do in practice?
They draw it up pretty simple, but it's very complex at the same time. For a running back, it's pretty simple.
Okay.
You know, we only got X amount of routes, X amount of runs. But I think the biggest thing is just harping on the details of it. We have to be on point with everything, and that's the way, you know, they coach us, and we harp on it during practice. So I think the running back role for us is pretty minimized, but at the same time, there's big expectations.
Last season, with it being your rookie year, it's all about proving you belong in this league. Now stepping into year 2, what are you hoping to prove for this season?
Really just who I am. How I've always been, you know, player growing up since young, college, now to the pros, just, you know, keep building on who I am and, you know, my brand and the way I play is the biggest thing for me.
How's it been playing with Chris, the new guy in the room?
It's been amazing. You know, he came in, we welcomed him with open arms, and he's, you know, hitting the ground running, you know, learning as much as he can. He's a great character overall. Coach Liam does a good job of, you know, bringing the right guys in, and I think we definitely did with him.